We'll get started. We're in Revelation chapter 17. And I believe we just trying to figure out. We talked about the scarlet beast, did we? A little bit? Right. We talked about the woman in the passage is sitting on a beast which has 7. C. Can I see what your C is? Because I don't have C's in my notes. I made them up for this to make it easier. Aha. Thank you. All right. The beast described. There we go. The beast described. All right. So we're in Revelation chapter 17. Look in verse 12, we're going to get to in a minute, where it says, "And 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast." All right, so the beast described. Now, it's described as red in color, or scarlet. And scarlet and purple are the colors that kind of represent luxury, splendor, and royalty, if you look throughout the Bible. But it's also can be a color that represents sin. Look at Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 18. Isaiah 1, verse 18, it says, "Come now, and let us reason together, saith the Lord. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool." And so that scarlet color can be luxury, it can be royalty, but it also can represent sin. And that adequately represents this anti-God kingdoms throughout the ages. All right? They were rich in splendor and royalty, but evil in practice. And then we saw the 10 kings are described as those who received no kingdom yet, but at this point, they give all their power to the beast. All right, so we see that. Daniel chapter 7. Daniel chapter 7, if you look there in verse 8. It says, "I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things." And so the beast pictured first as a kingdom of 10 horns. The horns describe 10 kings who have some authority over the empire. And so we see that, and they give that authority to the beast. And we can go through all these different scriptures that in the book of Daniel. If you basically take the book of Daniel chapter 7, Revelation chapter 17, Revelation chapter 13, and kind of cross-reference them all and look at them together, it gives this idea of these 10 kingdoms with these 10 horns and the Antichrist and all those types of things. And therefore, the woman riding the beast indicates that she is the representative of false religion and is the cement holding this global kingdom together. So what's going to hold the one world kingdom together? This one world religion. All right? The two of them are going to work hand in hand. The woman in Revelation 17 verse 4 is seen as dressed in beautiful clothing. They're the colors of royalty, prosperity, nobility. And she will have all outward trappings to allure people to her false form of religion. Isn't that the case? A lot of false religions, when you look at them on the outside, look really good, don't they? Take, for instance, look at Mormonism. If you don't know anything about Mormonism, and you look at it and you see clean-cut, family-oriented, family values, yes? Looks good on the outside, doesn't it? But at the base of it, is it good? No, it's not good, all right? It has different faith, it has different scriptures, it has all kinds of weird things that it believes, and it's not biblical. But on the outside, the outside trappings of it can look alluring and can look good. Well, that's just what happens here. And so we see that. And so as we continue on, she's covered in jewels. So not only will religious Babylon be beautiful, but also she'll be arrayed with fine gold and precious stones. Usually all that type of arrayment with jewelry usually indicates success or wealth, doesn't it? Or a great deal of debt, you know. But with human beings, it's either success or wealth, or someone who's trying to look successful and wealthy and is in debt. But if we're talking about this situation, successful, wealthy, she's holding a golden cup full of abominations, so he entices her victims to drink that. Look at verse 17, her name. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, Mother of Harlots, and Abomination of the Earth. And so, it's not a good thing. She's declared a murderer because for she's intoxicated with the blood of God's people. That one world religion will be anti anything that opposes it, and the death penalty will be upon all those types of things. Look at Revelation chapter 17, verse 7. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore dost thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath 7 heads and 10 horns. And so John was wondering over this, what he was seeing, and it begins to be explained to him. And John understood 2 things. He understood the woman represented false religion, okay? And the beast whereupon she ride represents the Antichrist and his kingdom. And you can see that in Revelation 13:1, Revelation 17:3. So he carried me away in the spirit of the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of the names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 7 horns. And as we go on, in Scripture we saw that God tells him about those kingdoms and the kings and all those types of things. And so if you notice, though, the sovereignty of God in all of this. Because here we are, John's being told about all of this going on, correct? It's not really encouraging, is it? If you were John and you got to write some things down, this is probably not one of your most exciting things to write down. But look with me at Revelation chapter 17 and verse 17. It says, For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of God, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. So we ask all the time, why in the world, if someone was the ruler of a country, would they willingly give up their authority to another leader to come in and take over and have one world leader, correct? I don't know about you, but I mean, maybe it's what you think when you're growing up, but to me it's like, if you have a successful nation who can take care of itself, why would you willingly submit to another ruler? But what's happening? According to this, it's because of what? The sovereignty of God. So that God's prophecies will be fulfilled. And so even in all of this, who is the one ultimately in control of it all? Oh, the Antichrist is going to think he's ruling the world, isn't he? Right? But who's bringing all this about? It's God. It's God's prophecy. It's God's will that these things take place. And so, as we see in look at verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, they shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. And so, it doesn't turn out well. This is the same beast that appears in Revelation 13, which took a deadly wound to the head. He will appear to have died, but miraculously come back, and it won't even be loyal to what got him there. And so we see all these different things taking place, and we ultimately see the sovereignty of God in all this. Now, some insights. People ask, where is the mystery of Babylon headquartered, right? All the time people ask those type of things. Can we have the thing? Now, what's interesting, to be honest, no one today knows for sure, nor will anyone know for sure until the man of sin appears. Can we just make that statement right now? Yes? No one knows for sure where the headquarters of this false religion and this one world government is going to be. We can speculate all we want, can't we? Aren't we good at speculating? We're good at speculating who the Antichrist is. We're good at speculating who, all these different types of things. And but there's some interesting things that we can see. Today, there's growing manifestation of the world's rebellion against God. Now, where do you think of in the Bible where there was a great rebellion against God to the point where they were trying to build something to reach God? Tower of Babel, right? Tower of Babel? Well, Tower of Babel existed around 2300 BC, and this was painted in 1536 based on what Genesis 11 says. So this is no one was there and actually painted the Tower of Babel, okay? We're understanding that? But based on what it says in Revelation chapter 11, this guy painted this image of it, okay? And really, that's kind of where this whole idea of everyone gathering together to rebel against God started, and where it was all heading. So, I'm just going to focus on one place in the world where the rise of human government and rebellion against God is in your face. Okay? And that's the European Union. Now, I'm not saying that the European Union is the headquarters of this all. To get what I'm saying? We don't know. I've already said that, correct? But I'm just showing you that this stuff is real today and exists and is going against God. And what is the purpose of the European Union? To unify Europe, right? Now, it's not doing a good job because people are starting to leave it and, all that type of stuff. But, okay, so here's the Tower of Babel. Now, as you go on, there's many, many tongues and many voices. At the Tower of Babel, what happened with the language? All the different languages, correct? And that's where man was spread out. Okay, so we go all the way back to that point, and as you begin to look at that, and you begin to see that, there was 160 to 100,000 Jewish people were taken from Jerusalem as slaves, and they built a Roman Colosseum. Okay, that's how the Roman Colosseums were built, and all those types of things. So the site of the European Union Parliament in Strasbourg, France, is also near the site of the first mass burning of Jews that took place in February 14th, 1349. Now, a brochure passed out in Europe commemorating the $12 billion building has 12 stars. Okay? Know that they are the inverted 5-point stars. Okay, so this is the booklet that was given out. So on your right-hand side is the rendering of the front of the booklet that was given out. On the left-hand side is the rendering of the painting of the Tower of Babel. And what is the phrase the European Union used on their brochure? Europe. Many tongues, one voice. It's interesting, many tongues, one voice, and what rendering are they using? Tower of Babel. Well, where did the many tongues come from? Tower of Babel. And they use an inverted 5-point star, which is a satanic symbol in and of itself. Now, you want to take this even further. You can go here, and you have the European Union leaders are aware of the ancient symbols and proudly proclaim their hope to complete what the builders of Babel and Rome failed to do. So you say, oh, well, it's just a coincidence. You look at the building they built. Don't look at the building they built. Look at the building they built. On the outside, what's that seem to be built like? Tower of Babel, right? If you go on the inside of it, guess what it looks like? The Roman Colosseum. Those two things that they did. And someone said to them, oh, it must be an interesting coincidence that it looks like the Tower of Babel. No, we did that on purpose. That was a purpose decision they made when they built it. And they said, our goal is to complete what the people at Babel failed and what the Roman Empire failed. Okay? This is them. This is what they said. By the way, if you go, Pastor, prove what you're saying. Okay, here's 3 pages of sources. They don't even deny it. It's openly on their website. Okay, if you've never looked at their website, there's links right here and all these. You want them? I'll give them to you. There's links. They openly state this on their website. I'm not making it up. I just literally, from my notes, you know what I did? Went on their website, copied, paragraph, paste. Cite where you got it from them. All right? Now, it gets even better. Real quick. And so now look what they've done. Sitting outside their parliament, their headquarters. A woman riding a beast. Wonder where they got that from. By the way, if you find a European Union coin, what's on it? The woman riding the beast. All right. So are you saying the European Union is the headquarters of the Antichrist? I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is it's interesting to look at the level of rebellion and anti-God that is in the world today, and it's not far-fetched that a one-world leader and a one-world religion can come to power and be okay, because stuff like this is already taking place, and it's taking place openly, and it's being lauded all over the world. And they're not even hiding anymore where they get their inspiration from. So what's so illogical to think the next step will be exactly what we've been studying in Scripture? And so just wanted to kind of let you see that with your own eyes and realize, hey, it's taking place over time as we speak. Okay? And so hopefully you can see a little bit there of the mystery of Babylon, and then we'll come back next week, jumping into Revelation chapter 18. Now, take your prayer bulletins. I left prayer bulletins on the seats.